everyone, and welcome back to Different Beat. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Tim.
And today we'll be covering Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris.
Darn right.
To be completely honest, we ended up picking up this game on PlayStation Plus. It was not something that either of us were planning on playing. It wasn't something that either of us wanted to go out and spend money on. It came up. It was free, and we're like, you know what? We never finished and reviewed
The Guardian of Light. Yep.
And we're like, let's do it this time. We're both really excited for the upcoming Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and we both really loved the relaunch with Tomb Raider on Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yep.
So we're like, what can we do to get us jazzed up for the release?
Well, even more than that, I mean, my renewed interest in Tomb Raider since the reboot, I mean, was a step in that direction. The fact it was free was also, you can't beat that. And the second, and the third thing, rather, was that it's been a long time, especially since we started this channel, because we've been so busy tackling like big single player experiences that we've actually gotten to play a game together,
That's
like
true.
a co-op game. And so that was the big selling point for me, was not only can we review this game, but we can actually play through and experience it together in the multiplayer scenario. And so that was also the reason I wanted to play it.
That's true, and it was a multiplayer game that resided outside of the first-person shooter genre. Like,
yes.
We played Battlefield Hardline together. We played the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 beta together.
Yeah, okay, that is true. But even in the case of Hardline, we were just swapping control back and forth.
That's
we weren't
true.
actually simultaneously.
So this was a unique experience for us.
Absolutely.
In the last few months to actually get together and have a game that we were both wanting to play, that just came out great timing and had multiplayer online co-op
yes.
at the same time. So it ended up working out, and so we couldn't pass it up and decided to play through it for a review. And it's an interesting little game. I wasn't potentially taken with it as much as Tim here. The moment we started, it went downhill for me because he's like, I'm Lara Croft, you don't get a choice.
I'm sorry, I was going to be Lara
Isis.
Croft. That's just the way it is.
Well, that was fine. I mean, we had a good time joking about it at first. To be completely honest, I listened to the game for about the first half hour, 45 minutes. After that, I cared so little about the story, I muted it and was listening to a podcast because the story was worthless.
To be completely fair, the story of the game is pretty shallow. I mean, the gist of it is your partner, Carter, whatever his name is, the black guy, finds a staff. All hell breaks loose. Now you have to fight all these gods to reassemble Osiris and to stop the bad guy. Who was it? Set. Set was the bad guy in the game, even though he looked like Anubis for some reason. I don't know why. But anyhow, that's pretty much the story. It wasn't super interesting, but the gameplay I felt made up for it. I mean, the thing that I found really refreshing about this game, especially for its super low price point, in my case, zero price point, was it was actually a really clever puzzle platformer. And I haven't played a good puzzle platformer in a really long time. But I mean, there was parts, and I'm an experienced gamer, and Beth's an experienced gamer, but there were a couple times in that game where we were really scratching our heads to figure out how the heck do we solve this challenge. And we ended up, figuring it out. It was, especially one challenge temple in particular, gave us quite the hard time.
I don't know where he's quite coming up with a couple. There was one puzzle in the game, and I'll give it to it. It had stuff. We sat there for like a half hour and be like, okay, we've died about 1 billion times. What the hell are we missing? Because we're total idiots right now. We have to be able to pass this.
What about the other challenge temple? I mean, you did call the solution, but it took us a few deaths first, where I had to like launch my line, and then while I had it, like, walk over the perimeter of the room while you were on there.
But if you actually look back at it, we spent about 3 minutes. We didn't spend that long.
To me, it felt like a long time.
But it really wasn't. But there was one. It stumped us, and I'll give them that. But outside of that, I mean, it's very simple gameplay, but it's fun. I mean, it is. The twin stick shooter element was interesting, especially in this type of game, because most of the time I'm playing a twin stick shooter, it's something like Geometry Wars or something.
Yeah.
So having it in this environment with the puzzles it had, it was interesting. There was some moments, though, that really I didn't gel with it. Like I said, the story was complete nonsense, and I just ended up muting it because I didn't care. And then the bosses, I thought, were really weak for the most part.
The bosses weren't very difficult. That is true. You know, I don't necessarily think I was looking for tough boss fights in that game.
No.
To take that sort of the other direction, though, I did appreciate the variety of enemies. I mean, there was a lot of different enemy types, and it kept things fresh and interesting for the most part. There was some really predictable segments of the game, you know, especially like the part where you get chased down by a giant enemy and things are falling apart and you have to run and jump and jump and jump and jump and jump and jump and dodge things.
I think they did repeat that a little too much towards the end, because the first few times I was like, oh, that's a nice little setup. You know, I mean, it's not unique.
It was essentially once per like story chapter
but
that happened.
Towards the end, it was like, okay, this is getting predictable now. Let's stop.
Yeah. But to the game's credit, right when it was like to the point of this is getting predictable now, stop, the game was almost over. So it wasn't like you were like, oh, it's predictable, and the game was only like a quarter through.
And I gotta give the game, one time we loaded it, because we played about halfway through the game in one sitting.
Yeah, it's not long.
That's a testament to how good the game is too, because I mean, we did play it, and we're like, you know what? We don't want to stop, we'll keep going. And that is a good re-endorsement of the game. When we both loaded it up, this just tells how dumb we were that evening.
Oh my gosh, I know
we were sitting there complaining about this boss, saying the game must be glitched, everything else, because we could
The damn game was glitched.
And what had happened was we both simultaneously lost our brains because we couldn't figure out how to get the characters to shoot.
Yes.
So
we were sitting there,
and I was hitting the trigger like, she's facing that way. She should obviously be shooting. Despite the fact I've played halfway through this game, we die like 6 times, and then I just randomly hit the other like stick, and I started shooting. Tim's like, did it stop glitching? What's going on? How are you shooting? And then it finally clicked. I'm like, oh my god. Oh my god. We sat here for like 15 minutes yelling at the game. And we're idiots.
No, it wasn't even that. We didn't just yell at the game. We yelled at the game, rebooted the game, logged back in. When that still didn't fix it, we both powered down our consoles, booted them back up, reformed our party, got back into the game again, still wasn't working, and then realized that we were being complete idiots because we weren't using the right thumbstick.
It's like the game did nothing wrong at all. It was functioning exactly as it should, but for some reason, we simultaneously forgot how to play a twin stick shooter. We don't smoke weed, nothing like that. Just we sat down. We're like, let's play.
It was embarrassing.
And I think it might be the most embarrassing moment I've ever had as a gamer. I don't know if our audience has ever done anything like that. If so, you've ever had a moment where it's like so incredibly basic and so incredibly simple, and yet you overlook it, and then you feel like the idiot for ever, because I will always look at that as stupid. Let us know, because we can't be the only ones that have done something like that.
Oh, I hope not.
But anyways, now that I actually gave the game its props, there are a couple of things I do want to point out that were kind of nonsense. One thing that
tell me
aggravated me greatly was the grenades in the game. One, are a little bit too powerful, but the way they kind of discouraged you from using them, especially in co-op, is unlike your actual physical attacks, your bullets, your beam with the staff, they have friendly fire. Well, the problem is anytime you take damage, it resets your attack bonus. So if your co-op partner isn't paying attention and they blow up their grenade, it will hit you. So we pretty much had...
We blew each other up all the time.
Yeah, it's like we had...
Both accidentally and on purpose.
Yeah, towards the end, we were actually doing it on purpose. We were trying to make it like during a boss battle, like, okay, we really need to kill this guy. But then we'd purposely, dropped the grenade next to, like, the other person. As soon as they ran over, we detonated. I'm like, oh, why'd you run over the grenade? I was trying to get the boss. So we were trolling each other. But...
You know, in all fairness, though, I would almost say that gives credit to the game, because half of the experience that I had that was enjoyable about the game, I mean, yeah, the game overall was a fun game to play, but it was just the lot of fucking with you that I could do while we played that game. And you did the same to me. Like because I mean, it is very much a cooperative puzzle platformer. You really need to have multiple. Like, I still don't quite know how you would play that game by yourself. It must be a completely different experience. Because how could Lara have the rope and walk across it at the same time? That doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I would have never played this game solo.
Yeah, I probably never would have either.
So to me, It is a co-op experience. I mean, I'm not saying
definitely,
there
even if it's possible to be played as a single-player experience, I cannot even imagine it being a fraction of the amount of fun as it was playing it with somebody else.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of the game, when it's like, this game is weird in the fact that you get a ton of weapons every time you beat a challenge dungeon, and none of them really feel particularly special. You get like
Unless
8
it's
different
the rocket
machine
launcher.
guns. I was getting there, man. Way to
Sorry.
steal my point. You get like Uzis, and you get like heavy machine guns, you get submachine guns, you get shotguns, you get auto shotguns, you get grenade launchers, and they're all like different weapons you can equip to the D-pad and use your special ammo meter for. And that's great and all, but, you know, never really used them. And then like right towards the end of the game, we unlock a rocket launcher, and it was sort of like, a rocket launcher? Let's see what this is like. And then the fun went up exponentially. It's almost surprising just how much fun that stupid rocket launcher is. Because all of the special weapons in that game use your special ammo meter. The thing is the rocket launcher, even though it uses the most, still doesn't use that much. So you can still lob dozens of rockets that do crazy damage and will kill your fellow player in one hit. And so we had a lot of fun just yelling at each other and cursing at one another and lobbing rockets at each other while also trying to make progress in this game, blowing up each other with grenades. It was pure shenanigans. The multiplayer of the game made the experience, in my mind, a very positive one. I mean, while the game was good, playing it with a friend made it that much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I guess my criticism, it would have probably been early game where the grenade thing, when I was trying to take it serious, build up multipliers and stuff.
Yeah.
That annoyed me. At the end, you're right. That friendly fire made it probably so I left the experience happier.
Yeah, because we totally got to troll each other throughout the whole game.
I'd say that is more, we ended up making the game work for us. Then it's so much like I actually like the system. And I kind of stick with my thing where it's like the friendly fire bothered me because it just like a single hit would take away your multiplier. And when it was early game and we were trying to get high scores and everything, that killed my desire to do any of that because just the slightest bit, because you're trying to actually kill a boss, and it's like camera acts kind of weird sometimes. And it's like I would lose myself in like some of the nonsense going on. Like I get hit, all of a sudden my multiplier was gone, and it annoyed the hell out of me. So I mean, I guess it was both a benefit and a detriment. So I guess overall it balanced out, and I really probably shouldn't be complaining about it.
Well, no, I mean, see, I didn't care about score necessarily the whole time. I see, going to my complaint about the big game is along the lines of throughout the game, every time you complete a mission, you sort of go back to the staging area where everything is going on, and there's all these chests laying around. While you play the game, you collect gems, and those gems give you their currency, and you have to spend the currency to open the chest. The thing about the game is not long enough for you to really get thousands and thousands of these gems, so it was sort of confusing.
Locked. It's not a shared pool. So if I got like 100 of them, and he got 300 of them, and there's a chest that opens for 400, even though you share the loot, you don't share the gems. So it's like, there's no way to give him that extra 100 gems so he can open the big chest and we can both get it.
No.
So it's like, you kind of have to delegate. It's like, well, you get the gems and I won't touch any, so we can actually get the good stuff, but then you got a crappy score. And plus those gems are what help build up your multiplier so you can do strong attacks.
That part of it felt a little at odds with itself, especially when encouraging the multiplayer experience. But I mean, even again, overall, the game's not difficult enough to where you need epic loot from chests to make any sort of big difference. So it didn't really felt like you were missing out on power. It just sort of felt like you were missing out on the loot experience of this game, because while you always got plenty enough gems to open this crappy chest, you really want to save up for the big ones. And I think throughout our whole playthrough, I only managed to save up enough to open 2 of the giant chests that cost 1,000. I mean, now granted, had I been focusing on that a little earlier on in the game, I probably could have opened 3, maybe 4, but even still then, you consider over the course of the duration of the entire game, still not that much. Overall, though, I mean, I don't really got much else to say about this game other than it was a really fun multiplayer experience to play with a friend, and that is what I will cement right there. I will probably never play this game solo.
I'll never play the game again, if I'm going to be honest.
But, I mean, once through with a friend was a great experience. I think we had fun playing it.
The thing is, I actually want to dislike it more than I do, which is weird. I almost never want that. I always want to like every game I play. I want to love every game that I play. Because the more games I love, the more fun I'm having. It's like there's so many little nitpicks, but The co-op, I mean, everything generally is better in co-op. This is one of those experiences that were so much better in co-op. In the end, when we were both firing the rocket launcher at the last boss, so it was just like
hailstorms of rockets.
It's like it left me with a smile, and I liked it. Like, looking back, I had so much fun at the end that I actually can't hate on it. So, like, when I was getting ready for this review, we were chatting, and we usually talk about what we're gonna score it beforehand. I was thinking, like, by the end of this review, I'm gonna give it a 2. And it's weird. This might be the very first review where I've gone in planning or thinking I'm gonna give it something, and then end up giving it higher. It's never happened before. So it's kind of unique, just talking about it and how it ended up working out with the multiplayer and just the amount of
up to 4 players, by the way.
Yeah, it is. We didn't get to experience. I really wish we had, but we just did the co-op. But it was still fun, and I ended up walking away with it as a solid 3 for me, which is crazy.
I'm going to go ahead and throw a 3.5 at this game. I mean, there's a lot of things it can improve upon, but overall it was a really fun experience. Not a multiple playthrough game in my opinion, but still pretty good. But yeah, the rockets on the final boss was amazing.
It was.
Like when he's sitting there stun locked and Osiris has him pinned down and your job is just to DPS, and Beth and I are just throwing massive salvos of rockets at this guy. It was awesome.
It was. So yeah.
Check it out.
We definitely recommend it, especially if you have a friend and you're able to pick it up free on PlayStation Plus. And even if not, I can't lie. It's like, I would have said, even if I had paid $10-20 for it, I probably would have had more fun with that than a lot of games I played this year and paid full $60-70 for.
Absolutely.
So, what can I say? I mean, that's a positive one for me, so.
Yeah, well, feel free to check it out yourself, play it with your friends. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe as we upload new content each and every Sunday. Our next review, we're going to be talking about Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin Edition. And yeah, so we'll check you guys next time. This is Tim.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And this was Different Beat. Have a good night.